Today I'm going to be installing the CrystaLux G9 series LED headlight kit from 4x4truckleds.com. Already done the left side, pretty easy. These are the kits right here, and then those are just the factory bulbs. You can also replace a regular headlight using this technique. Only tools you'll need for this install are a 5.5mm or 7/32 socket and a small flathead screwdriver. You'll want to start by turning the steering wheel to the opposite side of the end you're working at. So I'm on the passenger side, you're going to want to turn the steering wheel all the way to the left. Even though it may look pretty intimidating in here, there's only a couple of bolts you're going to be removing. Starting down here at the front, there's 1, 2, and then inside the wheel well, 3 and 4. There's also this twist lock that you're going to be doing right here. Simply by the hand, you can just twist it counterclockwise. It'll unscrew itself, and then when you take out the other bolts, this will just simply pop out as well. Okay, let's start by taking off some of these bolts. Okay, now that we have those 4 out and we've untwisted this here on the left, you have to peel back the fender. So right in the front it's pretty easy, but if you look up here, it's kind of tucked behind this lip a little bit. So you have to just push in and it'll come out. Don't have as much room as the factory manual states, but you can easily reach inside and access the fog light, which is right here, and the headlight, which is a little bit higher. The bottom one's going to be your high beam. That's your turn signal, and the upper cap over there is your low beam. That's the one we're going to be replacing. So we're going to start by pulling this cap off. It's not that easy, but it's for good reason. You don't want any moisture getting in there. So now that we've got that off, we're going to go ahead and twist the light out of the housing, and then we'll disconnect the wires. Counterclockwise turn, and just be careful not to break off any of the clips. Okay, there we go. Now to remove this, we'll need that small flathead screwdriver. And you're going to want to slip it right there and then pull back. Now that we've got the bulb out, you'd simply take your replacement, plug it back in, do your quarter turn, and lock everything up. But we're going to be installing the LED conversion kit, so I'll show you how that goes. Everyone's headlight's going to be a little different, but if you can see up there, where we're going to be installing it, is 3 cutouts for the bulb to go into. The one furthest on the left is the widest, so that's where you line up the wide section from the LED. In our case, it's on the left where the wire comes out. So it's going to insert this way, and then we're going to do the quarter turn. So here we have the LED that's going to be going in the headlight. Underneath here in the package are 2 boxes. There's a ballast for each, the driver's and passenger side. As you see, this is just a plug and play. It's going to go right into the plug we just pulled that light out of. And we're going to tuck the ballast and everything right inside the housing of the headlight. There's plenty of room for this. If you notice these fins on the back, this is the heat sink. It's going to get rid of any of the heat that's built up from the headlight itself. So we'll expand those later. And we're also going to get a larger cap that'll go on the back. This is the factory one, and this is the aftermarket one. and this allows for these fins to be expanded and a little extra room to work with for the wires. Okay, now that we're set up, the first thing we're going to do is connect the ballast to the light itself. Simple plug. There's a little notch taken out so it lines up one way only, and you just thread the cap on for a watertight seal. And we're going to remove this plastic protector from the LED itself. Now, the same way we remove the bulb, we're going to put this right in its spot. Now that we have the bulb in and we connected the new wire to the factory harness, everything's going to get tucked right inside this housing. There's plenty of room for it, left, right, up, down, and then we're going to open the fins up. Everything's tucked inside there now. I don't know if you can see it. I have the ballast over on the right, and the wiring harness and the other wires are just over there on the left side. There's plenty of room to work with in here. So now we're going to go ahead and separate all these fins. Now keep in mind, we do have that larger cap, but we can't leave the fins straight out like that because the cap won't fit. So we're going to fold them over, up, down, and just separate them as best we can. Get this in here while I separate these. So I'm tucking some inside, go down on a couple, and I'll go up on a couple. And I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. So I've got those fins spread out a little bit. I'm going to try and open them up a little more, but I've gone up and down. That's about as far back as I could go to fit inside the aftermarket larger rubber cap. So we're going to go ahead and try and put that cap on now. I recommend starting on the further side, up tucked behind, and then work your way around to the bottom right over here. This can be a little difficult, but have patience, it'll get on. Headlights in, all back together. Now we're going to try and tackle the fog light, which is a lot easier to access. This one's going to be a lot quicker. Same thing as the headlight. You're going to reach in, quarter turn, and there's your bulb. So we're going to pull this one off, and we're going to plug in the factory housing. This one, you could just get your nail under there and pull. I need 2 free hands to do that though. There we go, that's out. Now we can plug the factory right in. Again, polarity doesn't matter. And now we're gonna put this in and spread the fins out. Remember, take off this plastic protective cap. And we're gonna insert. Okay. We've got this in, and now because there's no real housing, it's just all open up behind the bumper, we can spread these fins out just like it shows in the manual. Do half and half. I split it down the middle ahead of time so I knew how many fins are on each side. And just keep in mind, as you're spreading this out, the inside fender will bump into those, so you do have to separate them a little bit.
on the right side over here, there's kind of a piece of plastic that these bump into, so I'm going to fold them upward and downward a little bit to avoid that. So everything's mounted here. We just have these loose wires. I'm going to pull them up a little bit and mount them with a zip tie right around this bracket up here. So I got it zip tied up there, and now it's not going to hang below. It's all in place. Might rattle a little bit, but nothing you're going to hear while you're driving. Okay, let's put everything back together. And that's how you replace a bulb or install an aftermarket kit in a 2018 F-150. Thanks for watching.